Okay, so today we are going to almost completing the topics which are currently going on the exception or error handling, right?
Right.
So today I am planning to complete the remaining part,
So,
whatever left last after two lecture. There are a little bit left, and almost after that we can say okay, this topic how to handle exceptions or error is completed. Okay,
okay, okay.
so handling exception.
Right,
So I'm not going to cover all the things which already we have covered, but let
right.
me discuss something which we not covered. But sometime might be while writing the try catch code we observed. We should aware those. Okay.
Okay.
So till now we have covered like a mm, try block. Okay, and catch block.
Yes, block. Yeah. I also saw something online.
Mm.
It's called Finally.
Yes.
I was
That,
searching
yeah,
yesterday.
that is we are missing finally.
Yeah,
You say this is the same thing I am saying. Ki if we are whenever we are going to study, might be something we is not complete. Okay, so we'll try to complete this finally block. So catch block is one catch block. Multiple catch block can be right.
oh, there
One,
can be
yeah,
multiple catch. Yeah.
yeah. One try block, multiple catch block, and finally. So good option, all three combinations are okay. Sometime might be one cases you can only with a try, and finally it's also try and catch, try and catch block.
Right,
Our second scenario might be try and finally block, also
right,
sufficient. Okay, we'll cover this today, and might be third scenario try, try and catch, and finally
right,
and and finally and one more scenario can be possible, only try block. I'll discuss. So these are the four possible way you can use the try. So you can say there uh, there are the following four cases, yeah, four way
four way.
to
Yeah.
four ways to use try block.
Right,
Okay,
right,
so so we have almost covered the one part, right? And two and three and four. We'll try today. Okay, whenever someone going to read online, these terminology are used, right? So currently we have only covered the first part, right? Today I am going to cover all three way how to write. Okay,
right.
and just memorize the types of error we have study like just recap type of exception, type of you can say unwanted event, a type of exception that not make sense in. Okay,
Right,
exceptions are unwanted event, unwanted event are events are condition, right? These are the, so finally we have started two kind of, okay, there are two kinds, there are two types, right? Basically
right,
first we discussed like compile time. compile times. Second one is the runtime. These are two types. Okay. So to sometime I say this is the R. You can say checked exception, checked exception. This say are unchecked exception. Their terminology is changed, right?
Right.
Somewhere you read. So these are the sometimes these are the controversial by default. If you look the Java code library, we are not using any checked exception and unchecked exception. But as a theoretically, while talking, lots of people are using these terminology: checked exception, unchecked exception.
Right.
Checked
Right.
means कि compile time compiler no, unchecked means कि compile time compiler don't know, right?
Right.
So for example here, we know कि what is the compile time exception. So compile time exception is the any class. Now question कि what is the compile time exception, right? Last class से compile time exceptions, compile time exceptions is a subclass of subclass is a subclass of excepts exception class are throwable. Okay,
Right.
exception are throwable. Okay, class.
Right.
Yeah. So what is the runtime exception? Runtime exception similarly, runtime exception is a subclass of runtime
So,
exception.
yeah, but it's under.
Runtime exception are error class. Okay, so these are the two things we have studied. So last
Right.
just we discussed like top class of Java exception handling is the throwable, right? Throwable is the
That's right.
top class, throwable, and this is the
Right.
top level class, and they have a two subclasses, two subclasses. One is the your exception class,
Right.
exception. Another we say error, and this have again bifurcation. These have a multiple subclasses like file not found exception, IO exception, lots of exceptions, right?
Right.
One more types is a runtime exception. Run
Runtime. Okay.
time, runtime exception. So the runtime exceptions also have a lots of subclasses, right? Multiple
Right.
subclasses. And error also have multiple subclasses. So by default, compiler is understand, catch this exception and this exception. Okay. Anything, any class that extend exception class or throwable class is compiler know कि this is the compile time exception or checked exception, right? But
Hmm.
anything related to error or exception class, compiler ignore them. They are not going to consider as a compile time exception. So you can say these two, any class you are writing, error class or the runtime exception, or any subclasses of these classes, right? Any subclasses, all are
Right.
considered a runtime exception. This is the guidelines to JVM. Whenever you found any runtime exception at the compile time, you don't enforce developer, hey developer, to handle this, right? But in the case of all the exception under throwable or exception or any subclasses are guidance by the JVM, hey JVM compiler, please catch them at the compile times. If developer is not handled properly, give the suggestion. Hey developer, please handle exception. Means you can mention this try catch option, right?
Right.
Handle exception means our code can be written inside the try catch block, right?
Right.
Good. So this is the
Yeah.
just recap just for what last class we did, right?
Right. Yeah.
So now here these are good. These are, and last we also learn how developer can throw. One is the Java runtime system throw exception. Another developer can throw using the throw. Okay, throw keyword, right?
That's right.
Throw keyword. Another way, how can method specify throws, throw, right?
Right.
This is the line developer can throw exception. Developer can throw exception. Okay, and here method can specify I can throw exception. Method signature, method inform, method signature, method signature say this method can throws throws exceptions. Okay, study
Right.
with example, right? So this
Right.
is the method signature times. This method can throw following exceptions 1, 2, 3, 4, in, right?
Right.
Uh, But programmer generally want to throw any exception, they can use the throw keyword. So these all we already almost cover, right? Just revise. So let us look now how these things we are going to apply. All the things these are done. Same thing we are just going to use in this format, right? In the four way. So good example. Let's go with a simple like just one test class test. They have a let's void a method one. Okay, that's out. Okay. So question is that how to let's example here say I declare let's check one array. Okay, an array of like some value maybe 2317, right? Okay, someone maybe written code like for system.out.println, let's say array of get element 3. Okay, array might be someone written the code like I want to print the array element of the 2 element. Okay, or array element of the maybe one position, or maybe one position, maybe I want to 5 position. Okay, so by default if you're writing code and say method done, method done, someone call this method. If all the possible scenarios good, it will give all the value and close the method. Method completed or done. So let's create the object test. Okay, and I call just test dot method and run I. Then I notice okay, because here compiler is throwing something error for us. Why? Because we are trying to access the array element of the fifth position, right?
Right.
We are getting one value, that's great, but why I am not getting the one? Oh, this is the okay, this is really good, this is the unaccepted condition, right? But at least they can give me the value of one, right? But due to the unhandled exception, we are not handling exception, due to that I'm not able to give this, get this to output, right? So here before the exception handling, generally we are not doing anything, just okay, this is the error, we have to fix it, right?
Right.
But this is the handle, we can handle exception, I don't want such exception, right? So how to handle exception?
We need to put on
Yes, we go to put in this
try.
try,
Try.
try, and just put this code in the here and say catch, and here we have to give the exception object name. Okay, here and just run, and now we are handle this try catch. This means we provided here try catch exception. And someone run this code. Okay, if get value, it will print. If not get value, still our program is running fine, right?
Right.
So this is the way try catch handle. Okay, till now it's clear, right? Okay,
Yeah.
but say might be what happen. Uh, let's here I am writing my exception. It's good. Maybe I say this is the one scenario where you can handling, right? This is the no case here. Let's second scenario. This is the one scenario by default try catch. Okay, let's take scenario number two. Okay, scenario number two. Let's I just leave the code for reference. I just do the method two, right? And let's just change the logic here. Okay, and here I just take input parameter, right? Input parameter one number, right? Number. So I can write my exception. So last class we say you can write your own exception, right? So let's see, I can going to write my exception. So I say class my uh, let's compile time exception. Compile time exception, right? So how if you write this, okay, and let's here say if I write logic like if say if oh, if let's number equal to let someone pass 3, then I want to throw. I will throw uh, throw new my compile time exception, right?
That's right.
Okay. So here sometime I have to pass some message as well. What the meaning of message, right? So here let's
Right.
say add the constructor.
Yeah.
Constructor just add here and say here you receive the string message something, right? A string message. And here say okay. Till now it's okay. But still I can throw exception. But notice here our compiler is giving some error, right? Notice here say you cannot apply this class at the throw keyword. Start to say throw you pass some object. This object must be in hierarchy of your throwable, right? Must be exception or error or runtime like any subclass. Might be this is the any one subclass could be. So I want to create the compile time exception. That means we can extend my class with this or this. Two options we have, right? The
Yeah.
two option we have to create my compile time exception.
So
So
we need
by
to
default,
put throwable.
yeah, so I can throw my object. But here currently throw keyword say कि always I can throw. I am capable to throwing Java object that is the subclass of your throwable, right? So this
Right.
my object, this throw keyword cannot able to throw because this is not the throwable. So question yes, कि how compiler know कि this is not throwable, right? How compiler here know कि this is not throwable? So how to check? This is the one keyword. If say if this is one variable, now so let's I am going to create this in this way. I say variable. Okay, this is I am going to create this way, and here this is the option. This instance of throwable, throwable. So is check is throwable. So compiler internally check whatever the u object pass here. Here we are passing the object. Here passing the object. The compiler going to check what is the value of this. S out. What happened? Okay. So let me. I just comment out. So whenever you run this code, okay, you run this code. So you notice this variable become a false. What's it? Okay, here constructor you have to pass the message, right? Message uh, throw throw exception for number double equal to 3, right? Scenario. So if you run here, just I'm trying to say ki how compiler understand ki here you cannot use throw keyword. Still say cannot convert it to is throwable. Instead of this, what say? Nine cannot convert. Okay. So here compiler anyhow find out your object is not of throwable, right? Somehow. So this is the if let's say I implement here extend throwable. Okay, throwable, and after that you let's check it. Then this variable become look like a true. Means this is the throwable. No, this is the okay. I'm not call this method. Just I pass test dot method to pass 3, right?
Right.
So here now compiler know ki this whatever the object you are passing now it's throwable true, right? So or you say exception. This is the two way. One how to check this or one is just here copy and is the exception. This is the two class name from where your compiler able to identify this is your uh, exceptionable exception object or not, right?
Right.
So if you run here, still both are you are getting the true because it, again now this is not as exceptional. So compiler identify this is not exceptional, right?
That's
So
right.
I'm trying to say compiler have an intelligence, they can identify what object you are here you are passing, right? My intention here. Whatever here object you are going to pass, right? New, right? And my class name, okay?
That's right.
Error for n double equal to 3. Okay. So notice uh, so this what they say unhandled exception. Okay. So static whenever you are passing any method that is the uh, compile type exception, you have to two option try catch or throws, right? I am going to throws here, right? I am not going to handle it, right? So this way you are creating one class can generate compile time exception, right? And here someone going to call they have to handle the try catch. So you say okay I am going to handle in a try catch because they are this method explaining me you have to handle, right? So here option give try catch method signals are more action I want to the try catch, right? So they are become a try catch, right? And you run. So in this way you can handle try catch. Okay, now this is a handle method to call, method to done as well as method to done. Okay, method to call, method to okay. So here one catch is okay. What happened? This method throw another class. This method currently throwing only one exception, right? What happened? They throw one more. So let's. I'm creating here. Whenever you're writing any kind of exception, you have to use the super keyword and just pass like your message. Okay. Uh, why this message so that can be registered? Someone say like here if I'm not writing, let I'm not writing here, right? Then what the problem? If here say in the try catch block, someone try catch and say s out e dot get message. Message I want to print, right? I handle, but I want to get the message, right?
That's right.
So if you're not writing, this is your class, you are not writing this line, that means you're not getting null value, right? So due to that, whenever you are writing your own class, that is the extend throwable or exception, you have to call the superclass constructor. This is the super keyword is to call the superclass constructor. Means ki this class have a constructor, this class have a constructor, you call them, right? Notice
Right.
here. So by default, this super are called. They have a call this constructor, right? And message are associated detail message, right? So please be note whenever you are writing your own compile time exceptions, you have to write first things we have to extend. A second thing we have to call super class constructor. This is the call super class constructor. Constructor. Okay. So be aware. So now I'm going to what explain here now how I can use the multiple catch, right? So let's keep this my method can throw another exception as well. Let's say one more exception. They are throwing not exception one. Let's this exception one. Maybe I can change this is the throwable exception, right? And this is the just exception. Okay. And here just we are throwing this and one more exception. Okay, those both I can throw. Similarly, okay. And here I say just implement it. So I've created two class. Class one is the throwable exception, one is the just compile time exception, right? And let's if someone pass if let's s out one, s out let's two, and here say if someone let number pass maybe number pass like five or okay, then I am not going to throw. I am going to throw here this and here different exception, right? For number five, right? Right?
Right.
So now this method can throw two kind of exception. One is the compile time exception, another is the compile time throwable exception because I have written two right classes. So notice here our you are handling try catch, but notice this method still are not still sick you need to handle exception, right? Still compiler identify this method are throwing two exceptions. And you are handling only one. Why? Because this method say this is the method the two exception they are throwing, right? But you are handling one. So how to handle? So here say okay, I am going to write another catch. Okay, another catch. And what is the okay, right? So this is your this exception, this is your this exception, right? So notice here I write multiple catch block, right? And now compiler is happy. Means one method can throw multiple exceptions. So here question. Is it good? Now this is handled by 3. Let's say I pass 5. If I pass 5, they can throw different exception like for 5, right?
Right.
So notice here I'm getting the message proper, right? You got to get message, right? Due to the superclass constructor, right? So one thing, right? Here you can also write any kind of catch. I'm going to catch some exception or anything, right? You can do
Right.
any number of catch exception you can specify, right? So is it clear why we are writing multiple catch? Might be case our method 2 are through multiple kind of exception, right?
It's like an overload. We catch.
You are right. Look like yes, overloaded. But this
Yeah.
is the catch is not a method, but just is a block, overloaded method. You are right.
Okay.
But
It's a block. Okay. Okay.
here is also follow the rule. What happened? I write first this. Let's see what happened. I write first here and this here. What happened? Let's see. I cut here and I am going to say this cut, and okay, I am this cut I am going to write here. Okay, here, right? Then what is happening? Let me tell me. Just tell me. Okay. Now it's clear. Okay. So I'm trying to say, okay, what happened? I handle this case exception first here. Then what happened? Is it possible or not? So compiler is not allowed to write any class top. Let's keep and here something like I am handling this class here. I can do because notice here there is no any order. Throw this and this. Here there is no any order. You can write this class first or this class later. There is no any kind of hierarchy, right? You can write any order. But here, if you write multiple catch, you have to ensure that inheritance rule because these all objects are related to each other, right? Because all are the subclass of a throwable. So you have to ensure that super class always be the last, then child class, right?
Right.
So this is the rule we have to follow. Why? No exception is the super class, right? Why say exception is the super class? Because I say my class is the subclass, exception is the super class, right?
Right.
So if any exception throw, let's exception some throw here, a catch, they are going to the catch because this is a super. They have all power, right? So they handle all the case, then this code is never going to execute, unable to reach, right?
Right.
So due to that, compiler say कि this message become unnecessary thing because at the type level you are handle super class. Super class have all the power to handle, right? If
Right.
you are going to write multiple catches, please follow the inheritance rule. Inheritance rule means your exception this class must be last, okay, or child class must be first. This is the child class, right?
Right.
So is it clear?
Yeah.
So please, this is the subclass, then last is the super, means child to child to child to child. Might be
Okay.
let's see, I am also write one more subclass of my class. I can write this is the my class.
Right.
This is right I here, right? And here say my subclass. Okay, I can write subclass. What happen? I can throw subclass exception. And let's here I am going to write one more block, right? Let's number 7. If number 7, I say my subclass. I can throw my subclass. My subclass here. And here I have to mention that I am throwing my subclass, right? Here there is no any order. You can throw any order, right? The compiler is happy. But notice now in the main, here still your compiler is not complaining anything. Let's see, I comment out this code. Pardon. Let's I comment out this. Okay. So now all is okay. Because why? Because this is the child class and child class can handle by the super class, right here.
Right.
So let's I okay. Let's I comment out this all.
Look who is look who is here.
Good evening, Ajay Bhaiya.
Good evening. Let's we discuss the after
Yeah,
call. Okay.
sure.
Okay. So here I'm trying to say here if you write the catch, okay, and you
Right.
say subclass means के super class name. Here say you like exception. Just you write,
Right.
right?
Right.
This is a super class of all. Means now you are handle. Why this? Okay. So here, what say this?
Uh,
Okay, this say you say let's throwable is the super class. I did right. So notice compiler is happy to handle all kind of exception, right?
that's right.
Okay, S out. e dot get message. If you write throwable here, that means this is the super class of all. The compiler says all this they are throw, this all can be handled by super class. So compiler is very happy. But super,
Okay, okay.
that means if let's I am going to write, no, I am going to write my another class like a my subclass, like we created, like this is the my subclass, right here.
Right,
So let's I am going to write first my subclass here. So compiler say, oh, this is the unnecessary thing. Code is never reach here, right? Already handled by this.
right.
So in this case, if you have a multiple layer, then you have to follow the inheritance, right? So here should be like in this way. So this line always go to the, because this is a super, this always go to the last. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So whenever you are writing subclass, then superclass, this way, this way, this way. So you have to follow this rule. Always be the subclass, then superclass, then superclass, then superclass. Finally, the last is superclass, right? Is okay?
But don't you inherit from the top?
That is a
Uh,
subclass.
yes, this is the my subclass. Subclass inherited my superclass. Superclass inherited
Oh, okay,
exception
okay.
class. Exception class inherited throwable class, right?
Oh, so that the parent you put it at the bottom.
Bottom here.
Parent
So
bottom.
this is the hierarchy. Whenever you are
Right,
going to write multiple catch block,
right,
please ensure that inheritance rule.
right,
Inheritance rule, top always be the superclass, then child, then child, then
right.
child, then child. Because child have a limited capacity to catch, right? This
Correct.
have some bigger capacity, right? This have
Sure.
some bigger capacity, right? This have a
Right,
more bigger capacity to handle exception.
Mm-hmm.
If you
right,
write bigger first, let's say I write superclass, bigger first. Let's say I write bigger first, right? So
right,
all kind of exception through handle by here, this code never reach, right? So
right.
compiler to compile time error. So whenever you write multiple catch, please ensure that subclass child class must be the top and superclass must be the last, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, right.
Is it clear?
Yeah,
So
it's
in
clear
this
now.
way, you can write your class, and whenever you are throwing, in this way, you can throw exception. Whenever you're throwing, you can specify as the method signature. This method can be throw exception 1, 2, 3. And but in the case of someone going to call this, they are going to handle. While handling, they have to follow the inheritance rule. Here should be subclass, superclass, 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 superclass. Is it clear?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Now question, what happen if no exception occur? I pass 15 and no exception occur, right? Then what I am do? Still no exception, all successfully done, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I written some of such a code, but I want at least give some message. Finally, this method is try catch exception handle properly. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
there is one last keyword, finally block. Finally block don't have any parameter. Notice try have a don't parameter, catch have a parameter, right? But finally
Mm-hmm.
don't have any parameter. Just here say s out finally block. Finally block called. Finally blocked block called.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Notice here this print, yeah, this print only work if this is throw exception, right?
Yeah,
If this method throw some exception, throw exception, they are going to the check who will catch me. This catch or this catch or this catch or this catch or this catch. Anyone can go into true. Okay. Whenever one
Mm-hmm.
exception throw, anyone can catch, not the all. If this catch, after that code go to the finally block, right? If this is not catch, then here go. If not catch, then here go. Oh, this is the catch.
That
Yeah,
mean goes step by step.
step by step. If they catch, after catch, they move to the finally block. Now, after that, this line not going to the checked, right? Because catch. But what
Mm-hmm.
happened? No exceptions are match, and no one catch. and no
Okay.
exception occur. What happened here? This method
Yeah.
not take exception. So if they are not through exception, they are not going to evaluate any catch block, right?
Yeah,
But
then
finally block is still going to evaluate. So
uh,
finally block, whenever you associate it to try block, they are going to always execute even exception thrown or exception not thrown, both
mhm,
cases. So if you run this code here, I pass 15. In this 15, there is no any exception scenario. That means method complete successfully. Still, we are able to run our finally block
Final block. Okay, so that will by
finally block
default.
by default rule. So finally, here, let's say S out, main started, okay, main completed, main did, okay,
mhm,
and here uh, S out, something of next business logic, whatever next
mhm.
logic,
Business logic.
okay.
Huh.
So
Yeah.
here, let's say I pass number five. Number five can throw exception. So you notice exception throw, anyone can catch. After catch, they are going to execute finally block. Notice here
Ah,
exception catch is still finally block executed, right? So
Right.
finally block is the place where you are saying ki all of this maybe happen or maybe not happen. If this try block, I always want to execute this line. Question is why? Why I want to always execute this line? Might be case of, let's reason why this finally block needed, right? Why we are writing it? Because
Mhm,
in this try block, let's you are going to open some file system or call some database, right? Let's
mhm,
you open the database connection and some exception occur, right?
mhm,
While exception occur, you not close the connection. So where I'm going to close my file, yeah, where am I going to connection close? So
mhm,
you have it some place where you can say, oh, at least this line execute and go and finally block. You can clean up all your open jobs. So this block is used for clean up all your code, right?
Okay.
Opportunity for developer T for developer to write code, write code here for cleanup operation,
mhm,
cleanup activity, cleanup operation. Okay, cleanup operation might be closing all the file, closing the database connection, right?
mhm,
So in this try block, if you are doing something that can be open some resources or you are occupied some resources, you are allocating some memory, right? And some
mhm,
exception occur. Your control goes
mhm,
from here and come here, catch handle. But we have not any place where I'm going to close all these resources, right? Release all
mhm,
the resources. So this is the place where you are going to do clean up resources, you are reviewing the resources. So this is the final block is the place where developer can write code where they are going to free all the resources, clean up file, close, open the all the open file can close, database connection close, right?
Right.
These
mhm.
activities we are going to do here. Is it clear why we are writing finally block, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So this is the scenario where we can say try, catch, finally, right? So if all three are placed, then we order try block executed, catch happen, anyone can catch handle after that try execute.
Right.
Scenario number two, try block executed, no exception occur, still finally block executed.
Mhm.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
Sometime situation where I'm not interested to catching anything.
Mhm.
So what we'll do? What happened currently? Currently I'm going to write this. I just copy paste, and here I just remove all the catch. Okay. I am not interested. Okay. So notice still here our method throwing exception, right? So that means
Yeah.
you mandatory to catch them.
Mhm.
But why they are throwing exception? Because your method throw all are the compile time exception, right?
Right.
We are throwing compile time exception. Why? Because my class is the subclass of exceptions are throwable. Due to that, our method call say, hey, you must have to handle. But might be scenario situation, our method can throw runtime exception, right? So
Right.
let example, I am going to write the runtime exception. So I'm going to just copy paste here. I am just say this is method 3. I am not throwing any exception, right? Okay.
Right.
Method 3. Method 3. 3. Okay. Here, but I want to throw some business logic, but not a compile time. I want to throw runtime exception, right?
Right.
So how to write the runtime exception? Just write my runtime exception, right? Runtime exception and implement runtime exception, right? This is the class. Okay, sorry. Runtime.
Right.
Same, you have to just write the constructor. Okay, and this is the invocation, right?
You're right.
So now you can throw if any writer here. Yes, this is runtime exception, right? Or similarly, maybe you have your sub runtime exception. Might we have writer? This is my super class become here, right? And now I say
Right.
this is my sub runtime exception. Okay, I can write, right? So this is the way we can create the exception, that is the runtime exception, right?
Right.
Here should be extend. Okay, please note. A class can be extended, right? So here I can say might be let's this, right? So notice here I am throwing exception, but compiler is not forcing to add in the throw clause, right? Because these are the runtime exception. How
Uh,
compiler know? Because they are extended from runtime class, right?
Right.
So in this case, I am going to the call method 3. Okay. Notice they are not asking you to write the catch.
mhm.
But here, this method are throwing some exception, or might be they have opened some database file, connection something. So where I am to clean up. So I need the finally block as well as.
All right.
So if you run exception, they throw exception, but you are still writing your finally block. Notice they throw my runtime exception, right? Number 5, right? Okay. So sometime you have to write the such cases. Let's say I write the like 15. So still they are finally blocked. So sometime you write the code that maybe uh finally block called, right? Finally block clock, right? So here I'm trying to say that try have an option. You can write try catch or try finally, or maybe without finally. So in this example, let uh write here. Is it clear till now?
Which one?
Means ki try
Yeah.
can work without catch, right? Try and finally also works.
Try and finally.
This is my statement number 3 right here. Try and
Mhm.
finally. Try catch already we discussed. Try catch finally discuss, and try catch finally also discuss, right?
Right.
So the only reason finally block is always execute whenever this method exception throw or not. Or you can write that method as you like,
Yeah,
right?
but what I'm saying, if try catches some error
Huh,
throw an exception, then it goes to finally.
right. No exception, still go to the final.
That's right.
That both cases is going to execute, right? Is it clear?
Yeah.
And sometime there is a third case. There is a third case right here, right? 4. Sometime you look the code, someone write like this way. I am writing code here like a file. This is a just file equal to just new file. Okay, test. I am writing here. Notice this is throwing some exception. Okay, this say file dot. Let's create a new file. Okay, so notice this method throw exception, right? So question is that key how I am going to handle. One way we know add in try catch, right? This is the one way. This is the one way I write in a try catch. So here need to write and try catch. But I want to some. This is the already know way. This is the one option. But I am not interested to write a try catch. I only interested just try is not sufficient to do it. So how will do? Okay. So here we have option. Here we have what notice here is still compile time here, compile give error. Okay, unhandle IO exception. Because this throw is the IO exception. So Java say we have a one more option. Notice till now we have if you look the mouse, Java said you have two options. One you handle exception, another is the add to the signature, right? Add in the throws class, right? Third option we have, this is the which I am going to discuss. Just write try block. No catch, no throws. So here option this is the object. You say just write a try, just write try here, and with a parameter, just do inside the parameter here. And after just do this, right? So what they say? Okay, file is not auto-closable. Okay. Let's say new class. Is the path dot. Let's this the path. Let's double quote say here say I'm just saying where these things we can use. Let's say auto closable. Auto closable is the interface. 1 minute. Just I'm looking the class name which we can give the example. Auto closable class. Let's class name auto closable. Try. This is concept only. Try with resources. Try with resources. Oracle website. Go and here say like a file reader. Good example. File reader is a file reader. This is the one class is a file reader. Path the file. So let's I'm going to example file reader. Okay. File reader equal to new file reader and pass the file name like a test. Okay. And here say file reader dot just read file something.
Mhm.
File reader dot which method? Let's dot read. Whenever you say dot read, it will throw like unhandle exception. They are throwing exception. That means you are
Mhm.
going to the handle, right? These are the two which are the throwing exception. So we have a two option. Just write try catch. This is the one option. But here try catch. Just write here and try catch. It will
Mhm.
fix our problem. This is the one way, right?
Right.
Now all the compiler gone error, right? There is no compiler error. But
Mhm.
here I am not interested this way. I am saying ki this is already no. So one option, second option. Second option say I am just using the try, not the catch. So how to
Mhm.
write try? Just write try,
Mhm.
try, not a block, not a block. You just here parenthesis, right?
Mhm.
And this code you write inside this parenthesis here. Okay. Insert. So in this way, what they are saying again, semicolon. What they are saying again? Unhandle cause. Why they are asking? File dot read. Okay. Okay. Here say you go to write here try catch buffer dot read line. Try with resources and like this way. So here the option you can just write try and write this, right? The value. So they are not demanding you to write the try catch, right? This is example, right?
Okay.
Hmm. So this is the one options where you can write code like this way. So what is the zip file name? Let's double quote. Okay. Output file name. That's just character set. What is the char set? Char set is this is the char set. Just write this variable. I'm missing this student. So this is the one way. Here. Let's say file name. Where I'm writing. No, this is not. Just remove it. This is the okay. Oh yes, I'm just wrong place. Okay. Now this till now there is no error, and I'm just going to use this Oracle website example. Right. This is the one given example with this, and just test here. Right now this is the variable this I'm just same variable name like this and same variable name this. They are passing somewhere. I just pass the same name. So now this all are done. All are done. What exception again say? Unhandle exception this. Why say unhandle exception this? Add to more action. No, no. So somehow why they are not understanding. I don't want to handle. So there is one options. Uh, let me uh, write my own class. This is the one I'm trying to say. This is a try. I have an option here. You can declare a variable, and whenever you call, they are not doing anything except right. Instead of that, I'm going to write on my own class, right?
Right.
Here, let's my I write one my class here going to create the object. Okay, so just it's simple. Just remove all the things. Okay, till now it's clear. I'm going to write own class. This is my own class. Okay, class my Auto closable. Closable. Implement auto closable. Okay. And this is the interface. We have to override the method. Override the close method. Let's say that's out. Okay. Suppose auto closable is closed. So whenever I'm going to create the object of this, right? So let's say here say I'm created my simple class, right? Here say my class object equal to new, right? And here say let's add one more function like public, just say void process. Process just doing some processing and return output, right?
Right.
Business logic, processing, okay, something done, okay, and I'm call this method. I am going to auto closable auto close. This is the method already created. Dot. I'm somewhere incorrect. Okay, this is the extra something. Yes. Okay, this is the extra line somehow, so that compiler not understand. So IntelliJ is very help us, right? If you are some extra bracket, help us, right? I am just call process method. If you run this object, just call the process, and after processing, I do some like they are processing, right? Processing 1, 2, 3 done, and after processing, I want to do my closes. All the resources must be closed. Let's here say processing. Open the resource. Open open some resource, right? Here I've opened some resources, and after that I want this should be close as well, right? Close all the resources. So if I'm not writing try catch, if I'm not writing try catch, our program process successfully done. That's demarcation. So but the problem is that here my resources which open by this process method open some resources, right? This is not closed.
Right.
We have option. I'm go manually say it is done. Then I'm say ki, hey, my resources just call the close method, right? Manually. What developer missed to write calling this method? Might mean developer is not called. Okay. Okay. They throw exception. Okay. Okay. So in this case, what we have to do? Notice they are throwing exception as well, right? They are throwing exception. So I'm say okay. I'm going to just I'm commented out. I'm going to just copy paste code again and explain is the try. Here I'm going to declare this variable inside the try parenthesis, right? Here I'm going to declare this right here, and after that this is a block where I am say let's start the process. Okay, this variable already declared. Let's one more variable, right?
Right.
So what error say? Where is it? Okay. Somehow what unhandled exception? No, I don't. It should works. This is why IntelliJ is not able to recognize them. By default, what happen if you write this way? Might be some try with resources enable setting. No more action. IntelliJ replace with where? No. No. My intention, this program should run. Why they are not running? They are like so strange. Why they say handle exception? Why say handle exception? You are unhandle exception. Let's add here. And if I run here, so notice here I'm not just here. Notice I'm not called the close. Here I'm not calling the close resources, right? But still notice here the close resources is called. Who called? I'm just writing the inside a try block, right? This is the beauty of try. Whenever you are writing inside the try block, okay. And notice here I am also writing the same method. I am calling. This is the 1 1, right? 1 1. This is the second time 2 2 2 2, right?
Right.
I am not writing this auto closure, right? I am just saying call my process method. Okay. Here also say I'm just process method. So if you run here in the 1 1, notice only process method call, but 2 2 you notice here in 1 1 only process method call, right? But in the case of 2 2, I am going to call run process and automatically close method is called. Notice.
Right. Okay. Mm.
So this close method. So this close method, how compiler call? Here I'm not call the close method, right? This is the beauty of your try. Try resources sake here, whatever you written, just you write your business logic
Right.
and what the things need to clean up in a finally block, right? Why you are writing finally block? To clean up our resources. What manually clean something, right? So here say I am do for you, you don't do. Just tell me you write your variable which you are declaring can be clean up. Just do the try inside a bracket here, right?
Right.
And after that, this try internally going to check your object. This class have a already closed method. They are going to call your method. You are not going to manually specify, hey, I'm going to call this method, right? So this is the beauty of a try with resources. Here you just need a try, no catch, no finally, right? So this is the
Right.
intention. Sometimes this try is in the four way. One way try catch, one way the try finally, another try catch finally, and last just try. This is known as a try with resources. This is the another name, try with resources,
Right.
right? So here the which are the finally block doing the same thing automatic done by the try with resources, right? Notice if you're not using try with resources, you go to manually call the this method, right? The only added benefit here, all the exception handling is taken care by internally Java runtime system. The question is here, how try block know I have to call this method? How? This is the my class, right? This is the my class. How try block know I have to call this line?
Right.
Good question, because try block say here this try block say here you can pass only class that are auto closable. What do you mean? That's simple. Can just one more. Can I write the one more class? Simple. I just write one more class. Simple. Like just duplicate this same. I am not implementing this auto closable. Let's say simple. Okay. And the same thing definition, right? Right. Same close method, same process method. But this class is just simple, means not implemented auto closable. Let's. I am going to write this here again. This is the thing I am going to write again here. And here I am going to say simple, right? say simple.
Right.
In this case, try is not happy. Try say कि I have only kind of object you can clear, that is the auto closable. Means कि your class must be implement auto closable. So in this way, with resources not work. Try with resources, you cannot create any variable here. Only those variable you can create that can be implement this interface auto closable. This is the hint indication. So whenever you are writing, you have to implement auto closable only those objects you can create inside the try list. Here simple class you cannot create. It's only drawback here, right? Some benefit, some drawback. Drawback here you can only pass, only create the object that is auto closable. What do you mean by auto closable? Auto closable means your class implement auto closable and override close method. Because this is the class. What happened? You are not overriding this method, right? Let's example. Let's example you're not overriding this, and if allow, if your compiler allow to write here uh, simple object, and after calling this process method, try resources going to the call close method, right? At this close method you cannot define here, right? Might be case, right? Because this is your class, simple class, you have not defined the close method. Then your runtime class, your code fail, right? So to
Hmm.
avoid those situations, Java say कि if anything you are passing here, that must be auto closable. That means कि your class must have a close method so that कि our JVM can call those methods. Like here, our JVM can call the close method. Because how no? Because your class is implemented auto closable, and auto closable is the interface. They have interface one method close, right?
Right.
Due to that, try with resources works. Try with resources, no, here you are writing that all the classes must be implemented auto closable and they have overridden close method. So we freely I can call here close method, but here I am
Right.
going to call close method. In your class no close method, because you are not bound to override close method, because you are not implementing anything, right?
Right.
So this is the reason you cannot pass any simple object in the try resources, because your simple class might be case not override to close method
Right.
here. So try resources only work whatever the inside the bracket object you are passing, that must be implemented auto closable. Is it okay?
Yeah.
So this is the you can say many times while dealing with the database call, dealing with the file system, file open. Whenever next couple of classes, we are going to understand the file read write. At that time, this try with resources help us to write code very concise instead of so bulky try catch, try catch, try catch. Because there are in Java file system multiple catch blocks you are going to write. Notice here lots of catch blocks I am going to write here. So these are just miss our business logic code, right?
Right.
Why not just let them JVM do it, right? So due to this, try with resources. Our code become concise and only you focus on your processing business logics. So this is the things we are going to use in the future classes, right? But the
Right.
basic Java exception handling is a simple try, catch, and finally. Or try, catch, or try finally. This combination you can play, right? But this is not say कि try always need a catch finally or something. Sometimes
Right.
you can look the code like this way. Try with resources. This is the feature come from the Java 7 onward. If someone using the Java like 5, 4, 7, because I started Java learning in the Java 4. So at that time this was not there, right?
Right.
When Java 7 come, then oh, this is the one way also, right? But nowadays Java, you know, coming 19 September Java 21 going to release. Okay. So till now, any doubt question with the try, catch, try, catch, finally, and try.
No, not right now.
Good. So overall, the exception handling is this is the part where you
Yeah.
have to just aware. Why? Just ensuring that our applications are not closed abnormally, right? Your application
Right.
behave as per you plan, as per developer think, right? So someone say if particular lines, particular code are throwing exception, how to handle? Just simple way, try catch. Just
Try catch. Right.
that is simple. This is sufficient to handle. But sometime might be this method except through different exception. So I want to give the proper error message, right? Not the one error message. So here decide ki what exception they are throwing. This kind of, this is the different message. This kind of, this is a different message. The exact message I want to give to the user, right? So I am going to use the multiple catch so that ki who are going to use my application, they get the relevant error message, right? Not the one generic error message, right?
Right.
If there is only one catch, you can give the generic message, right? Here, some exception occur. What kind of exception occur? So due to that, in our application, due to the business requirement, different types of exception we are writing, so that user can get the real message, real problem what is, right? Not the generic message like exception occurred. User confused. What kind of exception? What I pass the incorrect value, right?
Right.
So this is the reason why we are going to support the multiple catch, so that our application can respond very significant specific error message to the user, and once user read those messages, easily understand, oh, I am passing this is the incorrect data, let's fix it. Okay, it's
Yeah.
so finally, just revise key for exception handling and error handling. These are the keywords we are going to use: try, catch, multiple catch, finally, right?
Right.
And uh, whenever we are going to throw exception or catch exception, then we need a Java object. Notice here you are throwing exception and catching. So this need a Java object, right? So which kind
Right.
of Java object I pass? So we can pass only throwable kind of object, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
so category. Finally, we have decided two kind of category. One is a compile time. One is the runtime. Compile time is alternative name is the checked exception, and
Mm.
runtime alternative exception meaning is the or word is the unchecked. But how to know compile time exception or runtime exception? Any class that is the subclass of exception are throwable, known as a compile time exception, or any
Right.
class that is the subclass of your runtime exception or error, known as a your runtime exception. I many times say error. Why I am say not exception? Here just brief. Whenever you have a top class throwable, and this is the exception, okay? This is the exception, and this is the error. Error is related to your JVM specific problem, like out of memory exception, right? Stack overflow exception, error, right? Might be linkage problem. So whenever JVM is trying to, what JVM is interacting with the operating system, right? And JVM say, hey JVM call operating system, hey operating system, give me X amount of memory, right? Operating system say, I don't have enough space, right? So this is not a problem, programmer fault, right? This is the fault with your hardware, right? So in this, our Java virtual machine is not going to crash. They are throw event. That event known as a error. So they throw out of memory exception or stack overflow exception. So let's good example. Can I throw? Can I generate those situation? Let example. Just I'm going to write simple method. Let's. I'm just writing one simple method. Error check. Let's static void error check. I'm just generate key compiler JVM throw me some error or not, right? Check. Just this is the simple method. Just say s out simple message, just error say. What happen? I call this method in a loop, infinite loop. What is happening? Okay. So let's here. I am right while if let's first things if I call this simple method, it will work. There is no problem, right? Because they have enough space to run, right? They give me the printer. What happened? I'm called this method is million times, right? What happened? Let's so I'm saying just while just true, always with true and call this code in this way. Generally, we have not avoid to do, but we can generate the situation, right? What happen if my program is going to run and calling this, calling this, calling this, right? Maybe
Right.
I write this code. Good example. Let's in the case of your method here, right? And I'm just say test dot. We have a test object dot, test object dot, right? Let's
Right.
so if what happened, we are going to call this method infinite. While true means always true, right? So they are going printing, 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 printing. After some time, my laptop have a some limited space capacity, and after some time, we our JVM is not able to find space to run this method. So what they say? They throw error. Let's check, right? Let's I run it. Generally, we avoiding this code, right? Just I'm trying to
Right.
generate a scenario, right? Now notice this is going to the call in finite time, right? Let's check
Right.
after some time when this JVM identify, oh, I am going to out of Stack Overflow something. Let's how much space they have. Oh, lots of space in my machine have. So just wait, it will throw after some time. Okay, it's still taking lots of time. Let's check. But the intention is that this will after couple of maybe minute hour, they are going to say some error like method stack overflow. For invoking this method, we have not enough space, right?
Right.
Such kind of situation, out of memory linkage problem, is considered as kind of a your error part. Due to that, there is separate class. Like one is the throwable is the super class, and exception is the application exception. Your program means application business logic. Error means that is related to the infrastructure, right?
Right.
Environmental issue. For that, this is error. So this is error also known as a unchecked exception. Yeah, runtime exception. Error. So due to that, I'm say it's still going on. That's so. It's still here say whenever I'm writing definition, like here, runtime exception can be subclass of runtime or subclass of error. Both considered as a runtime exception.
Mm.
So still maybe it will take some time, but surely it will going to maybe in a loop after some time. Maybe I have a lots of space available in my system, but
That's right.
surely after some time, maybe hour take, but it will going to throw error. JVM throw error. Oh, I'm not able to handle it after
I
some,
see. I see.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's still going on, still going, after some time, it still must be back somehow, right?
That's right.
And the last things we have learned about here, like throws and these two keyword. Throws keyword is specified as the method signature. Means this is a method two. Here you can say throws and many number of any number of exception class you can pass. Means this methods can throw this exception or this exception or this exception any exception, right? The throws keyword is only used the front of your method, right?
Right.
And second class throw. Throw is the actual tool where developer can generate or throw
Right.
exception, right?
Right.
Right. So let here our Java compiler not throw exception. I manually check if number is equal to 3, I can throw exception, right? Or number equal to 5, then I can throw this exception. So this is the
Right.
keyword help us throw. The throw is just developer help to generate exception, right? sometime like here, you are trying to access the one array as a 1, 2, 3, 4 element. You are trying to access a 5 element, right? So
Right.
here JVM throw exception, right? Because if there is no element is the at the fifth place, right? The sometime our Java virtual machine throw exception, sometime developer can throw exception. If developer want to throw exception, then they have to use the keyword like a throw.
Right.
Uh, And generally, developer writing code inside a particular method, the method can specify throws keyword. So in short, these are the kind of a summary related to your exception handling or error handling in the Java ecosystem.
Right.
These are very, very used in the real application whenever you're building any software. Okay,
Right.
notice
Right.
before many times still my program going on might be take some time, but it will go somehow, right? Let's I'm stopping this. This is the place where you can stop the JVM, right?
Right.
So let's I'm writing this code in that some different way so that one things I know I just remember. I'm go not call loop, just call one new concept I'm going to say, just call this inside a method itself. What I'm doing inside this method, I'm calling the same method. Look like this is known as a recursive call. What's a later time? Surely one topic also I got. I have to teach one class on the recursive calls.
Right.
Recursive, recursive call, right? So
Maybe
here,
not today.
yeah, we are not completed it. Okay.
Yeah.
So what when this is the method inside a method you call the same method, right?
Yeah. We can cover this later class.
Later classes.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's just call here. Might be they can easily generate the error. Just I'm to say, if possible, I can show those error as well as means these are the very you can say notice we are quickly got right.
That's correct. Yeah.
Notice there are lots of time they call quickly and they generate some error. Okay.
Right.
So if you go to the top, might be this is a stack overflow. Node back, recursive call going, and they are last go to the yes. You quickly go now. Now note the error. Stack overflow error. What error they
Oh,
generate? Stack overflow error. And notice what is the stack overflow? Stack overflow is the class that implemented the virtual machine error. And virtual machine is the class error to error class. So by default the super class is the error. The error have a lots of classes defined. All are the considered as a runtime exception, right?
right.
So notice in this way, sometime your infrastructure, if might be we have some lots of space, then we cannot. But still, somehow your space have a limitation, right? We
Yeah.
cannot do infinite call. So whenever you are going to call any recursive call, one method call itself. So why whenever I call is check method, one stack created for this method, right? And here say again call the same method, one stack also created, right? Again call same method, one stack again created. In this way, one stack frame going to created. I think on one stack take almost 1 MB something space, right? So after 100 very small MB, right? So after some time our memory have a limitation, right? So
Right.
due to this recursive call means same call again, right? And you are there. So I can handle this. So let's try. I say try, and here say catch, here say error, not exception. Here say error,
Right.
and let's say s out got error. Let's give the message error dot get message and run it. So sometime we have to no, what where is the problem? This okay, these I have to plus, right? So they are going something running after notice. I got exception. handle properly. Notice main is terminated, right?
Right.
So in this way, if you are not handling those cases, your program is crashed, right? Notice if I'm not writing this code inside the try catch right here, so what happened? Mm, this line, this line not come. Program is still not running. They are going to the close, right? So this is the beauty of your Java exception handling. Even any infrastructure, this is no our program is crashed. No, my main program running, right? So due to that, we have to handle check runtime exception as well as in this way. So whenever you're
Right.
writing such codes, write try catch so that your application main is still running, right? Main is still running, get a message, right?
Right.
So here still I am getting the stack overflow exception, but still my main application not crash. I am getting stack overflow. This is the problem, but still our application running, right? So this is the benefit of your error handling. Here you can do lots of other things, whatever you do, right? So generally, as a Java developer, we avoid generally rare case we are going to write the error handling error, but generally always you feel prefer to handle exception, right? Because exception is related to our application, our business logics, right? But we should aware Java can handle both kind of exception. Maybe application specific, yeah, the R infrastructure, R environment related. All those considered as a runtime exception, right? So I'm writing here runtime exception or error class. Both are Java treated as a runtime exception. Means compiler not force you to handle here, right? Notice here, compiler, if I'm writing code, compiler not forcing me to write in try catch. Well, code is still raw work, right? No error.
Mm.
Because this is a runtime exception. The runtime exception is the generated at the when application running. But still we can handle runtime exception as well as we have a both option.
Right.
So this is summary and all about the Java error exception handling. Any doubt, any question for the day?
No, not right now.
You let's do and go through this and
Yeah.
scan all the things. Any doubt, any confusion, will connect.
Sure.
Can you stop this recording?
Yeah.
Great.